Welcome back to About Boxing, proudly brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Today we're in Garforth, Leeds. We're going to be speaking to a former two-time world champion, Josh Warrington. We're going to be talking about his life outside the ring since his last fight and what's coming next. Make sure you stay tuned, like, follow, subscribe across all socials. We have some huge episodes coming up. Make sure you follow. So, what's it about? It's about raw conversations.
You've not been on camera for a while, so I thought I'd just try and distract you.
You just the whole intro.
That was roll, baby.
It's about the big names. It's about behind the scenes.
Does he win the top winner stop at the FA?
It's about fight night reaction. It's about the breaking news. It's about boxing. Josh, welcome. Appreciate you joining us on About Boxing, little new venture. We haven't spoke since the last fight, not much anyway. We've had obviously a bit of back and forth on Messenger, but how have you been? I remember we were in a hotel scoffing down at McDonald's after your last fight, but how's things?
Yeah, it's been a bit up and down, Matt, to be honest with you. Obviously, fight didn't go my way.
Yeah, tools aren't going your way
Tools
either.
aren't going my way either. Fight didn't go my way. So you have a bit of sulking and moping about and feeling sorry for yourself. But life goes on, doesn't it? You know, I'm a dad. I've got 3 kids, an husband, so life's got to continue. You know, there's days where I think, right, that's me. I'm done, retired. But there's times when I think I want to go again. And I've been trying to, over the last 10 weeks, try put a reason on why I perform like I performed and whatnot. But I can't change what you know, what's happened has happened, and you know, time's just passed by, hasn't it?
With your career where it is now, are you sort of, is this what the constant daily battle is now with yourself? Because that was built as a last man standing,
yes.
And you know, where does the winner go, where does the loser go? Now obviously you're in that other side of the coin now, where it's like you look back at what you've achieved, your career, the world titles,
Yep.
And you go, well, if I do have a go of a run, where do I go? Is this the constant day to day of the position you're in at the minute?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I think first and foremost, the most, I think the biggest battle was like, why did it go wrong? Because physically, I was in unbelievable shape. You know, the game plan, a lot of people said like from the game, you didn't get the game plan right, but we were prepared. We knew that what Leigh was going to do. I just think anything, someone was missing, and I trying to put my finger on that. Now, if I can, and that's not taking anything away from Leigh, by the way. No. You know, he did what he had to do, he nullified me, and he outboxed me. But what I'm saying is, there was a bit of, you know, sharpness and snappiness that were missing. Now, what I would need to do really is try to put a reason on why that wasn't there. And if it's because it's not there physically, then unfortunately you should need to bow out of the sport. But I don't think it was down to physicality. I think it was down to mentally. Now, why was that? I don't know. I'm still trying to find the reason. It's been nearly 3 months since boxing. And I'm not rushing looking for the answer, but I am desperate to know the answer at the same time. But in the same breath, I'm just training, and you know, if another opportunity comes to leave on my terms, then I'll entertain it.
Have you spoke to anyone about this, away from obviously family, friends? Have you? I know a lot of people invest in sports psychologists and stuff. Have you tried to delve deeper and find the answer?
I have. I've spoken to a number of psychologists, and you know, some have given me a bit of a brief, some have gone quite in depth. I've spoken to a lot of journalists as well. Obviously, like people like yourself, boxing historians,
content creator.
You know,
no, yeah.
we have a lot of like historians who you know fighters who can maybe give me a story or give me an example of somebody who's been in a similar situation.
They've seen this before, haven't they?
But I'll be honest with you, Matt, that you know, having spoken to quite a fair few people and a lot of really well respected historians, there's not a lot of people who know too many stories where it's gone mentally. It's normally say it's just in there physically, the fitness in there, the sharpness in there, the reactions not there. Everything was there for me last time, but that bit of spite, that bit of, you know, do it without even thinking about it, that wasn't there. It's almost like I was getting into the position and thinking about what possibilities that could come, but by the time, you know, I'm about to throw a punch,
he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Well, let me ask you, away from you, we'll come back to your fighting and obviously that, but your day-to-day allotment, gardening. I know your own man's big on gardens, like he used to talk my head off about it in the gyms and about things like that. We're about to go and take a look, obviously, at your allotment and how well it's been kept and what you're going to do to it. So we'll just have a little wander in and see him, Is this what you enjoy though, like away from all the hustle and bustle of fight week,
Well,
or is this a new thing?
It's a calming venture. I mean, I've always been an outdoors person.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, my old man's always been willing to do bits and bats of gardening, but you know, we've got allotment plot last year, and the wife is very passionate about where the food sources come from. So
Yeah.
she believes that all the vegetables and that we should be growing them.
100%. Yeah.
So here we go. We're starting a new venture.
Well, let's have a look then.
Let's have a look.
Right guys, as always, our episodes about boxing are brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Life-changing prices for very little. You can be spending literally pence. We had a competition at the weekend, 89 pence. You can win a sports car or 100 grand. They're giving away watches, they're giving away trips, experiences of a lifetime. Look, Our Kings Competition, make sure you click the link, give them a follow, give them a support. Go on the website now. There are some incredible deals, some life-changing prizes that will literally blow your mind. So make sure you give them a follow. Shout out to Mark Weir, who's behind it as well. He's doing his thing. But yeah, go and give them a support. I started running from like October to, I want to say, end of December.
Yeah.
I was doing like 5Ks, but like they were good 5Ks. Weren't like just flat. And I'm flying. I think I came to a gym. I was like 2 stone down, and December came, like start of January, cold weather, loads of other bits of random shit and stress. Stopped. And now I'm like looking and it's sunny again. I'm like, oh, I need to start.
It's habits, isn't it? You've got to keep on, even when the bad days come. You still got to get it done. But I'm the same, mate. Listen, I've trained since I was 7 years old, and it's always been part of my structure and routine. And when I first started getting back into camp, I was just ticking over and things ramped up. Like the cogs upstairs start working. When I'm just lazing about, I just bum about. I don't function. I feel like a slob. So, like even whilst I decide what I want to do, I've had to get back in gym. You know, I've had to train and do bits and bats, and plus, I like there's benefits to it. You know, I feel a lot better. I feel
100%.
more energetic, and there's not wrong with having some abs.
Yeah,
Summertime is coming.
Tell me about it. What they're like. I've not done anything about it. Look, joking aside, like we're touching on a little bit of your career coming down and what you're doing in your spare time. We're here. It's a different setting than what I'm normally used to, but it makes such a nice change, outdoors. But
it's therapeutic.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't want to be digging any of this stuff. Not gonna lie. I thought when I suggested it to you, I thought if he makes me start digging stuff up, it's not going to happen.
That's what I brought the extra spades for.
Yeah, you're all right. We'll get this done. I'll bounce. But other than that, like once that fight with sort of Leigh ends and you come back to day-to-day life, I know the press conference. Your dad, I want to talk about it because he said openly, "Look, no, I don't want to see you box again."
Yeah.
Is that hard for you? Because obviously you have trainer-fighter relationship, but it's personal.
Yeah, it is hard because obviously he's my old man, and he'll say that he knows me better than anyone else. But in the same breath, he's not in between my ears. He doesn't have to live with what I have to live with. We have a close relationship, and he sees what I do in the gym. But then, there's bits and bats after what he doesn't see. Listen, I thought that we were very well prepared last time. I thought game plan was to a T. Sparring went really well. I just didn't perform on the night, and like I spoke to my manager, and he'd said, "You could have fooled me, mate," because he said, and all how you was going about like fight week and how you was in the change rooms and the warming up in the pads, he said you looked unbelievable. And I'd been telling people that you can do this, you can do that, and when you didn't perform, I didn't know what to say. I'll do after, because and I'll be honest with Matt, like analysing it and breaking it down.
You watched it back?
I haven't watched it back. No, I'm on about the old situation, the old. I guess breakdown of camp going into fight week. So camp. Once the fight was announced, I was so motivated. I trained real hard throughout camp. Sparring went fantastic. We had a number of sparring partners, different weights, different styles. the game plan was down to we know that Leigh's not going to stand and trade with us, but we had skated for that just in case he had done. But we thought that we were going to go on the back foot, maybe, you know, go southpaw a lot more, which he did. And the game plan was get in there quick. As soon as you have him, go to work. And we had a lot of sparring partners who moved and switched over. Some difficult sparring sessions, but it was starting to really come at the end. And I had a bit of a moment where I'd finished my last spar about 10 days ago, and with the weekend, I was going down to Nottingham on the Monday. And I'm packing my bag. I was going to go take my gloves and put them away, so I put them in garage. You know, the old gloves, you know, they're dried out and stuff, but I'm not going to be using my sparring gloves for a few weeks, so I thought. And, you know, I'd been saying to Natasha that, you know what, I feel we're going to have a good year this year. We're going to beat Leigh, and then maybe go back to Leeds, and you know, they've been flirting with me, potentially fighting with this person, that person. I think Padley had been mentioned, and I'm like, whoa, beat him, and then there's Kakachi and Jazza soon, maybe get winning with them, and wow, if it's Kakachi, then I could, you know, get some revenge there, and then who knows after that, like, Turkey might give us a phone call, and or maybe another opportunity to go to America or whatever. So it's just like, Josh, you said you was going to have one or two more, like this like 4 or 5. I'm like, yeah, I know, but momentum's back, and then you know, strike while iron's on and all that, and I'm getting carried away with myself. But then on that day, when I go into my garage, I'm putting my gloves away, and someone just went around my face, and it's almost like a wave of like negative emotion came over me, and I started thinking,
What if it goes wrong?
This might be the last time you do this.
Yep.
This might be the last time you put your bag away. And like, I'm having little moments with stuff, and I'm putting my gloves up and I'm going to change these boots, going to put these other boots on. You know, and I've got like a fight groin guard what I wear.
Yeah.
I put that in my bag there, and I'm taking my bandages out, and I went, and I was having these thoughts, and I went, dear, why am I thinking like that? I had to stand up, and then I just have 5 minutes for myself. I'm thinking, why am I thinking like that? And then it just went on a bit of a downward spiral. Then day by day, my belief was up here, and I was so confident. I was telling everyone and anyone, listen, we've got this one, we've got it. And I just started doing it. As the days went by, I started eating away at myself. And like on the Monday, I went down to Nottingham. Me and Leigh did a head-to-head, and whilst we were there, and we went head-to-head, I'm full of adrenaline, and I'm so psyched up. And yeah, it's nothing. But then I jump in the car, and we're all talking away and this, that, and the other. But just every now and again, I'm having 2 minutes to myself. I'm like, and a wave would come, a negative thoughts would come over again. And by the time it come to fight day, I said to her, she'd come along, and I said, I think this one tonight, and maybe go back to Leeds, and that'll be me. She's like, what's up here? I can't do it no more, I don't think. I can't deal with this.
Fight week drain you then?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't deal with the stress, and I can't deal with the fucking emotions that go into it. Obviously, for many years, Matt, I've like headlined Leeds from being at domestic level. You know, I've been 10,000 there to watch a fight for a British or European title and stuff like that. Like, there's always pressure on that, and you know, as you're coming through, you just deal with it, you deal with it. But then, I think the inconsistency or whatever, it just stayed away with me, and I kept trying to motivate myself, kept trying to get myself fired up. But the more that I did that, the more it had a detrimental effects, and then I'll question everything. Then I like, Dad, what are you doing? Well, I'm just in the lobby. Come to my room. You come to my room. What's up? I've got game plan, right? Josh, we've done it. We've got it. We've got it perfect. I'm like, I know, but I've been thinking. I've watched a few more clips of him, and like.
So you're overthinking.
Mate, my head has gone west. My head has gone completely west.
You're describing like a fight before a fight.
Yeah, basically, and like.
Has that ever happened? Take it back a bit further, like when you're preparing for a Selby back in the day, obviously at different points of your career, is this coming back because it was built as this is it, winner goes here, loser goes? Like,
No,
or
'cause
is it, what was it from?
No, because I wasn't really thinking about that, and I kept thinking about, it's a chance for revenge and all the things of, over the years of things what have been said in the media, and
Yeah.
chance to put get my own back, and for years and years, people have been walking around the streets of Leeds, or maybe a boxing show, and people say to me, "Hey, when you're gonna get the opportunity to put it right?" And yeah, I'm gonna get the opportunity, I'm gonna put it right, but the opportunity right there, and I kept reminding myself of that, but I couldn't get myself fired up or motivated, and comes to the night, I'm in the change rooms, and a song will come on, and for a split second I'll have a little adrenaline rush and start shadowboxing and get pumped, but then it's almost like I was just
Going through the motions?
going through motions and just kidding myself really. And then we walk to the ring and I'm on the stage and I'm all pumped and motivated there, and I get in, I see Leigh, and he looks a bit older than he did a few years ago, and first bell goes, he comes out to middle, and I can see there's a bit of a grimace in his face. He looks like he's up for it, and he's throwing, and there's venom in his shots, and I catch him on my arms, but I guess there's not the same kind of venom as what in the first fight. Obviously we're a little bit older, and I'm more fully fledged super feather. I'm catching, I'm getting there, and I'm just not letting my hands go, and it's almost like I'm thinking about what potentially X, Y, Z could happen if I do A, B, C, but I ain't got the opportunity because Leigh's there, he's going bam, bam, and he's moving off quick, and he's moved really, really well, or he'd nullify me, he'd clinch me, and opportunity's gone. And before I know it, we're 6-7 rounds in, I sit down on stool, and my old man goes, "Can't tell you no more. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, Dad." He went, "Josh, you need to start giving me a bit more because you're losing fight. You're not doing enough. You're just getting there, you're not doing all." So I went, "All right," and then maybe round after, I had a little bit more, and it was good enough to satisfy him, but it was still not enough. Like, that's better. Now we need to build on this. But again, just a mixture of Leigh just keeping me long, just dropping feints and that, having me guessing, dropping a shoulder, moving along, and what I should have been doing was pushing over. But when I was getting there, I wasn't doing it. I wouldn't let my hands go. I'm getting in clinch. I'm looking over at Eddie. I'm looking at ringside. I'm looking for that. And by the time ninth come, my mum was like, "I'm gonna leave you on still, mate, because you're not doing anything." I'm like, "Just don't fucking think about it. What are you even doing?" But the only time in the fight where I felt comfortable was maybe the last 20 seconds or so, when we had a bit of a ding dong where he stood and had it with me for a little bit, but that was it. Up until then, I'd never felt comfortable.
There was almost, and look, take it for what it is, I see you in the ring and I'm like, I know how naturally fit you are. You mean you're not so seeing what you do in the gym, the circuits, that takes you so far. Just for what it's worth, it's almost like you had spells in the fight where you throw a good shot maybe to his body and he'd hop back a bit. And look, I'm not taking anything away from Leigh. He did what he had to do. Southpaw most of the fight, clearly won. Take my hat off to him, fair play.
Yeah.
But on the bits where I thought you were about to have success, it was almost like you're there, and I was like, right,
go.
Now there's not a second phase, but it's like if you pull the trigger now on a few more. But then I'm thinking it from your point and go, for everything you went through in the previous fights, do you think maybe there's a thing of, well, if I jump in here and get caught with something silly, or or my jaw, because I'm not making excuses.
No.
The fight's done, went the way it went, but I'm trying to put myself in your position, and I could never do what you do. But I look and go, it's a dangerous place to be in that ring if you're hesitant.
Yeah, of course it is.
So I'm looking, going, right, that's maybe where the opportunities are. And then your dad obviously was probably thinking maybe this alongside the same, going, look, now go. Is that how it felt like? There was some maybe holding you back from committing to it, or maybe going through?
Well, I've spoken
a little bit.
I've spoken to a psychologist since. I've spoken to a number of them, saying maybe it's come from trauma. Now you think trauma, you're a fucking boxer, you haven't come back from Afghanistan. But then when you look at obviously we're all selfish in our own little bubble.
So trauma in your world.
And it's trauma in my world, exactly that. So when you look at last, 4 or 5 years of my career, well, longer than that, going down to behind the closed doors and getting knocked out by Lara unexpectedly and never been put on my backside or whatever. I could walking away with quite like horrific injuries, and then regained world title, and
Suffer a horrendous
jaw break, and then building up to that, there's like a few hiccups in camp with like spars and making sure jaws are right, but I had to fight because otherwise, mandatory, I couldn't put it off any longer. So then I lose my title there, and then you come back and I'm doing half alright against Leigh, and then get stops there, and it's like then come back against Kikachi and just something missing there, and it's like bits and bats of. It's not like I've had a steady comeback. I had that fight with Assad Khan, but in between, but we know what that was. That was more or less it, and that was only like a last minute. So just I don't know, mate. I guess it's speaking of psychologist again, just saying that it may be build up of trauma over the years, and that bit of uncertainty, and as you get older, you start looking at things a little bit differently. And obviously that doesn't help my campaign for having an extra one, but I feel that so having more, but I feel like if I could like get over that or rectify that what's going on upstairs, then I think that, like you say, Matt, you've seen some of my camp last time. Physically, I was fantastic. You were training before, like you were. I was proper on it. Or at Leeds Beckett, and I remember leaving going, "Geez, like." Because you never, let's be clear, you're never on a fat camp really. Like you see fighters like they talk about they have the camp, and a lot of that's just to get timber off. Whereas you're like you all have to make weight, but I remember seeing you at Leeds Beckett thinking, geez, he's the anticipation for this rematch eventually getting done. He's already there. You're in shape. You're banging targets. I know. Obviously, the guys who do your numbers were saying that they're better, as good as they've ever been, which leads me to think the physical side of it's not the issue. And this is it, and a lot of it's weirdly enough. Like I used a lot of the what had happened in the first fight and other little bits and bats and interviews that I've seen as motivation. There's been times when, like when me and Leigh clashed in Manchester, and we had like a bit of a heated exchange there of arguments. I know, I filmed it. and there's moments when I'd be on bench there, and like I'm going for like a 1 rep max, and I'm thinking about that, and instantly I'm body flooded of adrenaline, and so and I'm ripping it up, but and I thought I'm not going to have a problem getting motivated for this, and even if it gets to the fight and it hurts me, I'm just going to be able to go along. But I just couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, man. Like I think that's what I've been struggling with for the last 12 weeks since the fight, is like trying to find why. There's not one thing that I can say, right, it's because of that. I think it's been a mixture of a few things, but maybe I'm just getting fucking old.
Such is life. I mean, you've got an allotment.
Maybe, exactly.
I'm not saying out bad, by the way. I think they're great.
Maybe outlook on life is different. Like I say, when I had a chat with Leigh after, again in medical room, and then,
You're all good now, aren't you?
Yeah, very good, mate. Well, we
happy days.
And that's something what it's hard to explain to the public who have not been in that situation. If not bad, like a physical altercation in your life, then you probably don't understand it. And that's not digging anybody, but it just does something like.
It's a respect thing, isn't it?
It is a respect thing. That when that final bell rang, and obviously I can see I'm looking at it as an older fighter's perspective, and I see Leigh celebrating, and I see his daughter in there, and like they're having their little moment then, and like I can imagine how much pressure he's going through the same thing that I've gone for last fucking 12 weeks and 3 years and blah blah blah, and he goes away and celebrates and that, and then we go into medical room and we have a little moment there, and
you're all going through the same stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, of course, mate, and like, really and truthfully, all we have, lads from council estates and low class backgrounds, trying to do the best we can for ourselves and our families, and and our kids, and we had a bit of a moment there, and he offered me his hand and said, let's bury that shit, and I said, I'll come and have a chat with you tomorrow morning, whatever. When we did a bit of a talk about life and whatever, and just
Just you two?
Yeah, just well, me, him, and he had his missus, his friends and that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very amicable, and like it's mad, isn't it? Because I think a lot of old school kind of, you know, people used to do like gentlemen. You have a fight, you
Shake hands after and move on.
The bad blood was genuine, 110%. Like I could not stand him, and if he wanted to roll around in car park, then I was happy to do so. And like I'd more or less told him that, but like you shed blood and you've got 12 rounds to sort it out, and he was the better man. So I can do nothing but stay fair play.
Well, look, let's shift this a little bit. So where you're at now, say you do continue. We've always talked about what's left for you to fill in your career. There's always been America that you wanted to do, and you know, when you talk about it in that sense, and people look at where you're at, they could probably go, well, that dream may have gone, because what would be the reason for Josh fighting in America now? But I look at, I don't want to talk on your contract situation or if you're tied into anything, but I look at Zuffa Boxing and go, they're putting on fights now. Dana White's in the game. They have a base in Las Vegas, and whether it might not be the Allegiant Stadium or the T-Mobile, Dana and Zuffa are building out there. That's a potential avenue. You look at the fights they're putting on I think they're coming over to Bournemouth. Jack Massey's on the card, Siobhan Clark, I want to say Leigh Cutler as well. If I've got that wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So they're building their own thing. So there's another pivot there as well. And you know, depending on who they match you up with, obviously, and what they want to do, you might be able to still do that. But what is it you're trying to itch? Is it the perfect goodbye? Is it?
I guess, you know, there's never like any testimonials in boxing, is there? There's not like a player who's been to a football club.
An exhibition.
Yeah, give me a misfits. I guess there's not you know, a player who's been at a club for so many years and then, you know, gets to have that one match in front of his fans and stuff. It's like, it doesn't really work in boxing, does it? But I feel that for me, Matt, to be in a position where I can be at least satisfied. And yeah, like you say, if it went really well and I performed really well, then it could, you know, leave me with another pull. Oh, should I really retire now? But for me, it'd be go back to maybe Leeds, go back to the arena. You know, last time I was there, 2022, you know, lost a majority decision against Luis Alberto Lopez, lost my world title. Well, I'd like to go back there, fight. You know, I'm not too sure who, but fight and just from the first bell to the last, give it absolute everything. Obviously, I think I need some help, like upstairs, getting to that stage, but just give it everything. Because I feel like in the last one in the camp, I would have been able to fight for 36 minutes without taking a backward step and for absolutely everything, but I never did it. And it's no good crying over spilled milk, but and coulda, woulda, shouldas. But I think if I could do that in one more, then I think win, lose or draw, I can say, well, I give it everything. You know, I'm at a stage now where
you want to empty the tank in the ring and come out of it feeling.
Like not empty the tank so much where you're fucking chasing things because of like things you didn't achieve, but more so of like just being content and knowing that that's me. Like maybe the mentality has changed a bit. Maybe I can't deal with all the stress and the pressure no more. So maybe that is the indication that we're more or less getting to the back end. Now, like I say, I've got a young family now, and I do think about things like that. I don't want to go home where my kids are fucking seeing me, my jaws over here, or my eyes all black, or my nose is all over funny and stuff. And life does continue. There's a lot of life to live after boxing.
I was going to say, you've got, like, we all have, like, well, hopefully you have, but you've actually got a young family that still needs the dad.
That's it.
Like, then you still want dad to come home and not come home with injuries.
And it don't want to be at a stage where, you know, we've still got to wait for, can we go on holiday? No, because dad is fighting. Can we go do this? No, because dad's fighting. No, can't do this because dad's fighting. And you know, so yeah, I know that things in life, you know, you can't always control, but I like to think I've worked hard enough now where I'm in a position where I can control what happens with our day-to-day going-ons, and you know, I don't want it be down to promoters or, you know, opponents or things like that. So yeah, and listen, mate, 17 years this year I'll have been a professional boxer.
That's some crack at it.
You know, it's like someone said to me, I was speaking to Stephen Swifty Smith over in Dublin when Maxie was out there, and he was like, just from his perspective, like, Josh, I boxed on your undercard like 12 years ago. He said 12 years ago you were, you were headlining the show, and you fight for a British title.
Yeah.
He said, like, that's what you've done for bloody longer than a decade. He's like, not everyone does that. So
No.
I think, you know what, it has been some run.
Can you not look at it now though from that point and go, and we'll talk about other things as well, but like, can you not look back and go at your career and say, I always call it, there's like a 1% club where they kind of get not just the accolades, but they have the fan base that you have.
Yeah.
For instance, you can use other fighters as an example, but you've had that support from what I feel like from the beginning. You've sold out arenas, you're headlining arenas and selling them out for British titles, European titles. Some fighters become world champion, and with no disrespect to them, and I'm not naming names, but they fade into dust.
Yeah.
And it's horrible to see. And you look at them now, and I look at their lives after the fighting, and they don't have no money. They, I've seen people selling stuff, and you look and going, wow. When I look at your career, I'm like, you ticked off every belt domestically. You won world titles twice. Look, America would have been great, but I sort of feel like, well, would you swap your fans for America? You wouldn't. Would you swap your titles to go fight in America? You wouldn't. So there's always going to be a trade-off. But I feel like of all the boxes you could have ticked, you're in that percentage of going. I mean, look at your last fight. Like the noise. Like I was sat here and I showed you a video when you came out. Obviously, the arena's not for you, majority. But I was going in the Nottingham end. I went to the bathroom, Nottingham end. I went to the bathroom and someone goes, "Oh, we're here for Josh. We've just come from." I think you lot were playing in Birmingham. I want to say. I don't know where Leeds were playing. Leeds were playing Villa, and they're like, "Oh no, we're all in this end as well." And I was just thinking, "Geez, it's going to kick off." I had to just go around to use it. So you've had that. You've experienced them nights that I think a lot of boxers would trade a world title for. To have that raw and that everyone's behind you. And in the city, I mean, you've got your own. I'm making a joke. You've got your own mural.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone thinks, it's always kind of like, what can they say? Like, do you not look at that and go, well, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm honest with you, Matt. I think like just what you're talking about there. The whole thing about America wasn't even for my own personal goal. It's like
that was for the fans too, wasn't it? To bring them across.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think if you can say and put in your CV, I boxed in New York at Madison Square Garden, or I boxed in Vegas on street. I'm watching you and seeing your, face on a billboard over there. Yeah, listen, nice to show grandkids and kids as they get older, but it wasn't for me. Any interview you can hear me say, like, it's never been for me, like, fully, because ultimately I go, stay, do like maybe a few training sessions, and then you're in your hotel, making weight, and then you go fight, and then you might get a day on the Sunday to have a little look around, but that's it really. Really, you're looking up at billboards and you might take a picture, but you don't really take it in because your heart's fucking going like fucking, you're thinking about game plans and what fight now. But all I really wanted to do that one for were the fans, for them to, have that away day and then hear the stories after. I boxed in Berlin in 2015 and, I think it took 500-600 over.
It's mad that.
And I went an 8 round against Edwin Tellez. It was, it was a bit of a steady fight for me. And the amount of stories I heard from that little weekend away were, I could write a book on it. So I just wanted something similar. People said about, you remember Leeds version of Rick Hatton. All right, maybe not get to the same numbers of Rick, but just give like the guys from West Yorkshire a little bit of just something to say. Yeah, we were part of that.
The flip side is though, I mean, I think your first fight I covered as media was the rematch with Lara, right? Right. I went to your fight as, I say fan, but fan of the sport by the you and Kid Galahad.
Yeah.
Me and my sister were in Leeds Direct Arena. Fucking song comes on. I was like, oh God. And you know what? I have to say, like, football jokes aside, like when that gets played when you come out, it's different. It's like it's like even the last one against Leigh, we're like, yeah, wow, these are all like here for him. It's a bit of a thing, but you've had that moment against Lara, like when you're getting lifted up on that podium, pyro going off everywhere, big pitch, a stadium full of people. There's people coming away from them nights, even like, I know it's not the trip, but like the Kiko fight, you're coming back into that, and it's like, I don't know, we know what's going on with Lara. You do that, you suffer adversity in the fight, but you close the show knowing that if it goes another round, I'm in big trouble. So, and so people look back at that, and I'm sure they take the stories from that as well.
Yeah,
But
they're doing lots of great memories, and it was just 8 years of a day when my anniversary of winning the world title against Leigh Selby.
You met him, BKB?
Yeah, I did meet him at BKB, and it was nice to be able to finally shake his hand, because again, once like,
you had to rip it off before,
yeah, blood had been shed on it, and like I wanted to speak to him after the fight, and that 36 minutes, a lot can be said, and a lot of understanding can be made in that 36 minutes. But yeah, it was nice to see him. But like, speaking about that, and people are sending me messages after, Josh, mate, what a great night. I still talk about it now, like and they've got their own little version of what they did, how they got prepared for that night, how they travelled down, what they did after, how they celebrated, and it's like memories for life, and you make an impact on people's life, and you speak to some people that I've met over in the years, and I met Al last at one of your nights. You know what I mean? Like, we had me and our kid. We first time we've been out in years, and it's great to hear. And like I say, that's all I wanted to ever do with the America one. But yeah, like last couple of times I've been on Ellen Road to watch Leeds. I've been out at City Centre. A lot of times I've been stopped and give them one more. I'm like, I don't know, maybe, please, for us, just one more back at Leeds, please. Just,
always going to be
it's
one
event,
more,
it's an event, it always has been for the last 12 years. It's been an event for the city.
Let me just ask you, I saw you at BKB, right? I looked at that and just thought, wow, there's one thing having another boxing fight, that's another level of everything. So I know I saw Selby there, and don't take a genius to look and go, oh well, boxers are coming over, have the rematch in BKB. Is that on the table? Well, or are you considering that?
I've been approached, and I've yet to have meetings with them, but it's an option. I've got to see how much they want to pay me. It's interesting. I think the first time I went down to it was when they had a show in Leeds at the Ice Arena.
Yeah, we were there.
And I was watching that and thinking, it's a bit tasty this, like. But then I went over to Manchester and I looked at it from a different angle, and it didn't seem as brutal. Listen, any sport where you're taking, punishment is tough. Obviously, in that sense, they've got no gloves on, but yeah, UFC have only got minimum padding on, and it's like that was very brutal when it first started coming along. People like violence, don't they? And it's only a small ring.
Well,
that
there's
kind
nowhere
of style,
to run.
that kind of style is suited to me. So it's something like that. When I do definitely finish with it, I could potentially entertain.
Do you look at that and go though, when you mention stuff about your jaw? And look, I'm not taking anything away from boxing, because you know as well as I do, we've seen the casualties of that over the years.
Yeah.
This is a sport where there is no padded glove, and with what's happened to your jaw in the past, I've got to be honest, as I speak to you, and not just bypass it. People will say, why would you entertain that?
I don't know. It's something that's sat in our DNA subconsciously. It's just scratches that need to be itched, and like, why would you? But when you watch it, then something starts sparking inside, and like there's a little bit of flutter from your eye, and you think, I could have got that. Why would you even risk it? And like you say, the damage of what can be done. I mean, I was watching a fight there, and the lad took jabs on his nose, and his nose just exploded. But then again, when you look at the medical side of it, the medical side is second to none. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Backstage and what they do with the fighters after. I feel that if any fighters is taking a bit of a punishment, the fight gets stopped straight away. And some say the research is probably better than boxing, because boxing over like a 12 round period where you're constantly taking that
sustain blows.
Whereas like there, I don't know if the research is out there or not, but getting knocked out straight away or getting stopped straight away, you're not taking as much. So
maybe.
Yeah.
Is it the one that got away in boxing? Have you got one of those? I don't mean venue, I mean opponent. I remember being in Oklahoma for Max's fight. And obviously we know what went on there. I mean, Jesus, let's not revisit that. It makes me so angry when I think about that result. But I remember Shakur Stevenson sat in the front row, and he goes, like, I was asking him who he thought had won, because I was like trying to not have like any sort of unconscious bias towards what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, he goes, he's won. And then he goes, is that Josh Warrington? And yes. He goes, yeah, I think we had a thing years back or spoke on Twitter. Was he the one who you look at? Obviously, maybe not now, but you go, that was the one back in the day that maybe didn't happen, or is there other fighters?
No, not really. I mean, they would attend, and like looking at him now, thinking probably I should have got him when he was younger, because that was probably the best chance I've ever had. He's an unbelievable fighter, and hell of a skill. But at the same time, when my name was spoken to him, my mindset, I was not getting beat by nobody. I was unbelievable, on an unbelievable run, and momentum was flying with me. So I probably would have a best chance when we were talking at that time. But in terms of when we get away, not really. I think, if anything, Matt, I think the opportunity to fight for the Ring Magazine belt.
You've always spoke about that.
The Rocky Balboa belt. I've seen Carl Frampton's. I've seen Ricky Hatton's, and like just to have that. I think that bothers me a little bit, because British title were the goal at one point, and then you might be fighting for the Ring Magazine belt. Bloody hell!
It's a huge shift, isn't it? Like
it is. I think that obviously over the years there were talks of Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And I think that we'd have had a bet, like an amazing fight, but
that
obviously
never. Some fight, that.
Yeah, it never came about. But yeah, I don't look at it and think, I really wish I'd have really liked to box him. But
did you and Shakur have a back and forth on Twitter at one point?
We did, mate. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
that's what twigged it when he said it. I thought, I'm sure these two.
No, we did.
It's weird how times like change.
And Oscar Valdez as well. The other Mexican. Navarrete.
Yeah.
I've had a back and forth with him, but I think Shakur more than him, because this sounds terrible, but I said, because he was only young at the time, I just called him a boy. But I understand that you're not supposed to say that to an American, because there's a bit of a racial thing to it. But I didn't know that. But him and his fans didn't half jump on me then.
Yeah, so, I think But look, you were open enough to say, look, didn't understand the connotations of that. But would you accept the fact now, when you look at someone like him, is he someone you say from maybe, I don't want to say a fan's perspective, because he's still quite active, but you go, he's pound for pound, possibly.
He's an unbelievable fighter.
Because he must be up there right now. Yeah,
he's an unbelievable fighter, and obviously, there's times when you watch him just work and you think, wow, he's just so relaxed. And maybe at one stage I was that relaxed, but I'd throw a lot of punches as well. It's having that composure and being able to look and just take your time and bide your time, and just know that I'm in control of this shit. That's admirable to watch.
Yeah.
And there's times as a competitive person where I think, how would have I dealt with that? How would he react if I move like this or come to this angle and stuff? But I think the way that he goes about his work is fantastic to watch.
What's the best night you've had? What's the best night when you look back? Is there a moment that stands out and you go, that feeling, or that moment? What's the one way you've come away from and go, you know what, it can't get better than that, and it hasn't? Which one?
I want to say Leigh Selby. The build-up that went up to that, and the satisfaction of becoming a world champion, and after so many doubted me and think I couldn't do it, and this and another. But then I boxed Frampton after, and it just got, I felt even better. But
so many big moments.
Yeah, I feel like Kiko, even with jaw broken, like that was so many emotions, because like I lost my world title and I was back on top of the world, and I feel like from there were talks of being with Matchroom and stuff, that we could get back on the chase of unification. That we talked about for so many years. So yeah, but obviously I'll fucking have a jaw like this, like Quagmire as well. So yeah, there's so many moments, but it's probably top of it, probably Leigh Selby.
Yeah, you've come a long way. Well look, I think we could stay talking for hours on end. But whatever you do...
want to talk about strawberries and shrubs and stuff, no?
Well, we've got to shout out to someone else, because this isn't actually your plot. We can't go on this plot for various reasons.
Yeah.
But no, talk about that another day. But no, look, it's been good to chop it up. Obviously, we've done it under different circumstances before, but this is just something a bit different, a bit of a different setting, and I'm sure we'll get you back on the channel maybe in well, I don't know, maybe when either you make a decision, you know you're fighting, you know you're not. But whatever happens, as always, appreciate it. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
So it's been 4 weeks and...
It's been more than 4 weeks.
I moved more than 4 weeks because I've been doing my garden at home.
How was everything at home? We got new house all done and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
now. You've been
more or
going
less,
at that for
but
a while, haven't you?
Yeah. Just it's one normally what you find with properties in it. You know, you don't
Yeah.
realise until you move.
Till you're in.
Yeah, and then you think, oh fuck me, what's wrong with this? Now you open a cupboard door, it comes off, and you go, bastard, that ain't meant to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good bit of space for you outdoors and that, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's like I say, we could do this at home, but it's more the community aspect of it.
You're managing to meet other people and...
100%, like this bird who has this, I mean she can tuck a glass eye to sleep when she's here, but where is she? As soon as she comes down, she'll be great content.
Yeah,
Cameraman might fall asleep, like, to be fair, but no, it's fantastic. Like I say, characters everywhere. And like you say, some of them have been here for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And what they don't know about growing vegetables and stuff, then not worth knowing.
Has this helped you, obviously, in this sort of phase that you're at now, where you're waiting, wondering, trying to make decisions and all that kind of stuff? Has it kept your mind on something, or is it just sort of a side piece to what you're actually going through?
I just think like I'd like to be busy. It's like
you've always been like that, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess Mrs. diagnoses me with ADHD, but I do like to be busy. I need to have a focus. I need to have a goal. Obviously, with the boxing, you know, for 11 years at one point, Matt, I was fighting, you know, 3-4 times in a 12-month period.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, having a camp and then having a couple of weeks off, and then it was straight back in the gym, and that's just structured and routine. And when that all stops, and especially like over the last 3-4 years of how it's been with fights not happening and falling through and just a bit of an activity, I've had to find other ways of keeping myself busy and keeping myself focused upstairs.
Is that probably one of the aspects that maybe, I don't say worries you, but concerns you, mate, if you put the final nail in the coffin on your, say, your boxing career and say, look, that's me, had a great time, I'm done, thank you everyone, etc. It's then leaves that thing of open of what's next, whereas right now you know very well you could go, someone will give you a fight, because they always will. You know you can bounce back and have that focus. Is that what worries you, the fact that there might be a period of almost nothingness that fills?
No, I'm not worried about that, because I feel that once I'll be content then. Once I've finally put the final nail in the coffin, then I know that I'm done. Right. And I can walk away from it then. And it's not going to be easy walking away from it, not whatsoever. No. But I don't like this period where I'm in limbo, where I don't know what to do. You know, people are saying to me, done everything, what else have you got to prove? But they aren't living inside my head. You know, they aren't living out. I don't want to go out on an half performance like that. You know, I'd rather go out where I go and give it absolutely everything, and then win, lose or draw. Yeah. I can say that's me, guys. You know, thank you very much. But it's this stage what I'm not comfortable with. And what are you doing? Are you going to carry on? One, you know, she'll have had it over the last 3 months. One day I wake up and I'm going again. And other days I think, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. But like I say, I'm leaning towards that, having one more and then like being content with that.
The worry is with one more, obviously, and you know yourself, depending on level of opponent, it could, I'm speaking openly, like I always do with it, could that give you a false sense of reality? If you have an opponent, say, that's like, look, I need to scratch that itch, but you feel $1 million. Yeah. You go in there, boom, Josh Warrington is back, bang, bang, bang. You know, and you go, tell you what, fancy another run here. and then you climb in that mountain again.
And then it's game over.
And then what do you do then?
Then it's an absolute nightmare.
Sorry, love, we're fine. We can cut in. Are you all right? Go on.
How are you, love? You okay?
No. Right, guys, I want to tell you a little bit more about my friends at Zapply. We've just interviewed with Josh Warrington. Look, all-in-one supplement for men, helps boost your testosterone, and also for you athletes or even everyday gym goers, it helps with your rest, recovery and refueling. So many times you go on them long runs, you wake up the next day and you go, I can't be bothered getting out of bed. Look, get something in your body that's actually good for you. This is all the ingredients that you need so that your body works well. And if you go on their website and you're not satisfied, you get a money back guarantee. So you've got absolutely nothing to lose. Go check them out, Zapply, good people, good company. And look, this stuff is the absolute nuts.